What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Investing Bros. And as you guys can see right here, oh, look, that wasn't that bad. A little better. Uniswap right there. It is blurry. That says 47.8%. It is popping off today. We're going to be talking about why that is. Some of you who do your own research already know, but for the rest of you, like, for example, Matt C., who texted me like 20 minutes ago asking me what happened, you got to watch the entire show to figure that out. We're going to be talking about that and a whole lot more. Crypto bounced back a little bit up, but the beginning of the day, we had some prices drop, and some of the targets we have talked about here in the last week have been hit. Others, we're seeing the signs that prices are moving down. We do look like we're still heading down here with crypto, even though the NVIDIA call here a couple days ago ended up being bullish and was amazing for AI tokens. And I made a video about that earlier today. The rest of the crypto space still seems to be in a little bit of a slow bleed after a massive rally over the last couple of weeks. Will that continue, or is it short-lived and a bullish rally is coming very, very soon? Go ahead and smash the like button if you are excited about today's show. And also, if you're excited about my co-host, who is always amazing, I'm so glad that when I am not able to join the show like yesterday, being sick, he took over like a champ with Ada Ace. That is Mr. T. Shroom from down in Gainesville, Florida. Shout out to him. And also, T. Shroom, how are you feeling today?
Oh, Tim, I'm feeling more caffeinated than I deserve. I'll tell you that much.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been a great day filled with all kinds of stimulation. So it's very good.
Yeah.
Uniswap certainly getting some stimulation. Well, I've got a potentially stimulating quote here for you, Tim.
Ooh.
The dreams I chased took me on a journey more rewarding than the goals. Oh, and you can't see the goals, but there you go. And that is from Shakra Khan, who Shakra Khan is someone I've actually listened to their music for a long time, but they're also like one of the biggest pop stars in India. I didn't realize that until later on, but I've had a playlist of this type of music that this man produces for a while. But what do you think, the journey or the goals, Tim? What's more important?
You know, both good. Sometimes the journey is not fun when you're chasing goals. Sometimes it has some not fun moments, but other times, yeah, there's a lot of great moments. I've said before that my life, some of you probably people in the community know details about my life here and there. It's been a topsy-turvy, up and down. I don't think I could have ever, like, if anyone ever asked me at any point in my life, Tim, where will you be in the next 5 years? I don't think I've ever answered that question correctly. It's always been different, but I'm grateful for every moment along the way. So I like the quote. I mean, yeah, we all have dreams. Sometimes you even going through life, those dreams change a little bit. And the journey of how they change and why they change are really important things. So I'm grateful for every day I've had, but it's been a blast, my journey so far. How about yours?
Yeah, Tim. I mean, my journey's been great, and I've tried to appreciate and reflect as much as I can on the journey to get where we are today. We're about to probably before Q1's over, it's looking like we're probably going to be able to hit, in the neighborhood of 10K, if not 10K, and that's a goal, obviously. But the journey to get here has been it's going to be interesting to see if the journey has been as fulfilling, as rewarding as just crossing that threshold of 10K, and it's not us that did it, right? It's the bros, it's the community, it's everybody understanding the value of what we're also passionate about, which is community, blockchain, gains for sure. But it's just getting to see faces smile that are out here, pursuing freedom. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the comments. Great people in chat. I want people to go ahead and we're going to start doing this for live shows. We're going to start asking generic questions for chat I want you guys to comment. Comment if you can remember. If you can't remember, just put because Tim's handsome. Comment what video and what reason made you subscribe to the Investing Bros. Yeah, we're about to hit 8,400. We'll probably hit it during this live stream. We're probably a month and some change away from 10,000 subscribers. If you can remember what video, topic, or reason you subscribe, put that in chat. And again, if you can't remember, that's because it's because Tim and T. Shroom are so handsome. You had to click subscribe to the channel. Before we get in here, we're going to be changing some things up about the show. We do have, it's Friday, T. Shroom. You know what? We forgot this pre-show, but I'm remembering this. It's Friday, which means we have our weekly Blofin community trade. That means we're going to take 10 of our personal dollars. We're going to put that forward in a trade. You, the community, are going to tell us a token and a percentage and a leverage we're going to trade during the live stream. So make sure, go ahead and start commenting on that. But we're going to start doing some stuff. We're going to check out coin market cap here in a second while we wait for those answers. If there's any breaking news, we'll do breaking news, then some TA, then we'll have some big discussions and then Q&A to finish the show up. Today, we do have a special guest at the end of the show. Ernest will be coming on, and we have one question in chat from our Discord if someone wanted to ask him something. So comment in there as well. Questions you want us to ask Ernest, who's a tax representative. He's a lawyer, a tax lawyer, who is amazing. Shout out to him. Let's see here. Let's go to CoinMarketCap, and then we'll read some of these comments and get into our community trade here, T-Shroom.
Let's do it.
Little red for the most part today. You do see two green things, but both of those are stable coins. So Tether and USDC keeping us green. Dogecoin a little green. Polkadot a little green. Matic. But as a whole, a slightly red day. These red numbers were a little bit bigger earlier here in the last 24 hours, but they've cooled off here a little bit because everything is rallying back up. Let's see what the biggest movers are. And Uniswap is number one. Again, you guys saw in the title. A lot of you guys have probably seen this in the news. Uniswap with a big update that is actually intriguing. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've actually never had a Uniswap account, never had a reason to, didn't really want to. This news possibly might encourage me to go put some money into Uniswap. We'll have to talk about that a little bit more. Matic having a good day, almost at $1 right here. Holy cow, Matic. They were just at like 80-something cents here a little bit ago.
It's crazy.
Let's see. It's last 7 days price action. Yeah, coming back down. Well, let's see. Yeah, last 7 days. Yeah, earlier this week we were sitting down here at slightly below 90 cents. So good for Matic. That is one of our portfolio coins for sure. Let's see what else. Let's see how our portfolio is doing. Uniswap was not in our portfolio, but maybe it should be after this news. Matic definitely doing good. We did not have Toncoin. I think we talked about Dogecoin. Do we have Dogecoin in our? Yeah, we put a little bit of Dogecoin into ours. It's up 0.6%. DOT is up. That was in our tone. For most part, our portfolio taking a little bit of dip. We did have ICP. Avalanche, of course, had a big day with its outage. We're going to have that conversation a little bit later, T-Shroom, so I can get your thoughts. I know you talked about that in your morning live show for news. I gave a thought about it on Twitter. We'll give our thoughts later on in the show about that. But
for sure,
let's go ahead and check out the chat. What are you guys saying? What coins should we use? What leverage should we use as well? Mellow Fellow says, Tim ain't sick no mo. Not as sick as I was. I think you can probably still hear it in my voice. Congestion is still there. But yeah, yesterday was the peak of it. It was really rough. Crypto memes had been here since Jeb. Wow. Okay. Ada said, I've been here since I knew you as kind of TA Tim. Wow. Very OGs. Very OGs. Mr. J said the video why I was selling my XRP. That's not true, Mr. J. But, you know, we love good liars here as long as the lying is innocent and in good fun. That's Mr. J for sure.
That's
all right, let's see what we have. Let's get some coins in here. I'm seeing AVAX is one. No, JT is just saying is AVAX back up. But I did see that as a recommendation. Not that many recommendations. You guys not want us to trade? You guys don't want to do any Blofin trading right now? I see ZRX from Blackie Chan for 25X. Is that? I mean, I'm really. Oh, okay. All right, we got DOT in here as well. That's a contender. Ooh, I like DOT. But we do DOT for 25X. I will say 25X is kind of weak sauce. I might do 50. I might just do 50 for kicks and giggles. Let's take a look at what DOT is doing here. And remember, this is a segment we do now weekly with our partners, Blofin. If you don't have a Blofin account, go to the link down below, get one. Oh, you guys to see a lot of information there. Shared information. Nothing too private there. But use Blofin if you're looking to trade and make some money. Make sure you guys sign up with our link down below. If you use our link and if you submit, we tried doing comments last week. It didn't. I don't know if comments got deleted or something. I didn't see a lot of comments. So we're gonna go back to Discord. You got to be in our Discord group. A comment your UID and you can enter to win whatever money we make. Let's go back to DOT here and see what we have, starting with the hourly chart. And let's pull up our Lux Algo. Let's see what's happening. We're currently moving to the upside, but there's an order block right now on the hourly chart that is a little concerning to me. But the take profit coming up above $7.78. Let's see what our oscillators are saying. Oscillators, yeah, running out of steam there. So now let's take it down to the 15-minute chart and see what it is saying. We are above that take profit, but we are in the red. Money flow is still positive. You know, I'm going to have to say, T-Shroom, I'm leaning towards just go ahead and going long with it. Let's see what the 5 minutes doing. Little overextended. Money flow's negative, but it's getting bearish. Oh, this is tempting. This is one we might lose this one. We might lose this one unless we want to try a different one. I don't like what this one is, so I'm tempted to say a different one. Someone says short. This is A to A says short AGIX or Singularity Net. Is that one better? Let's see what the 15 minutes doing. Definitely seeing reasons to short it. I'm a fan of shorting Singularity Net more so than I am shorting or longing Dot. Dot's in a little bit boring spot. This one is intriguing, though. I think we could. I think we should short this one because again, when I'm turning, I like this one. I think there's an outside chance you have to take profit down here. Let's go to 5 minutes. Let's see what they're. Yeah, I think there's an outside chance while we're live, we could make a move down here to this order block down at 73 cents. So let's do it. Let's go. We're gonna go. I think unless I see 70x, I see a 70x. Should we do 50 or 70x, Seashroom? This is your devoted
50.
All right, we're gonna go a little more safe with it. A little more safe with it. All right, let's go here. 50x. Is that even an option? Oh no. This is one of the ones that only goes up to 25x.
Yeah, just do 25.
All right. It's a solid one. Let's go $10. Oh, it's 12, $9.39. I'll go $12.50. We're gonna be generous,
Absolutely.
especially since we have to go lower. In fact, let's do this. Since we have to go lower than that, I'll put up $20 because we really should have gone 50. I'll put up not 25. Let's go 21. $21. We'll put up 21. Let's enter a short right there. Boom. All right, we are in here. $20 today with a 25x on it. We're gonna be shorting Singularity Net. Been popping off again. One of the coins in my video that I made this afternoon. You got to go watch that video when this show is over. With that said, though, before we get back into too many charts, T-Shroom, is there any breaking news? And I'm going to go ahead and save. We're gonna push the Uniswap story to the conversation part. Is there any other news that people need to be aware about that happened today after your live show?
It's a good question. I mean, one of the biggest things that's been interesting to me that I've been seeing kind of ricochet around crypto media is this headline. And before I show you, this is not something that I've talked about almost at all. And I don't think, Tim, you've spoken about it much either. This is the Craig Wright saga, the guy who's like trying to convince everybody that he's Satoshi. I don't understand his motivation for this. It's super bizarre to me. But people have done crazier things, I guess. Anyway, so we shield you from most of these headlines, but this does seem to be pretty damning. Craig Wright admits to editing Bitcoin white paper presented to COPA trial. So he's admitted that he's made modifications to a major piece of supporting evidence to his case, and that's no bueno, right? That's kind of the beginning of the end. Not that anybody really thought that he was Satoshi, but so as far as breaking news that's going to affect your portfolio, 0% chance. Nobody cares. Nobody has cared, apparently, except for the whatever country that he's suing in. But yeah, that is breaking, though. It is breaking news as of today. And there were some other details, some interesting crumbs for Bitcoin fanatics, which is that there were some emails that were released in Discovery. We won't get into the subject of that, but it's actually really, really interesting. It seems as though Satoshi kind of foresaw some of the energy questions and the energy controversy of how Bitcoin does use energy, and quite a bit of it, to maintain the blockchain. But we'll see. I mean, I don't think that that's going to be any news to anybody. It's more memorabilia and kind of nostalgia fans of Bitcoin being able to see, oh, these were the emails. These were some of the early thoughts of Satoshi. So very, very interesting. But as of now, not too much other breaking news, Tim. Really just everybody pumped about Uniswap, a little jittery about Avalanche. We're going to talk about that later in the discussion.
There we go. Yeah, for anyone who's just joining, again, we're going to start doing that new flow. Always give us feedback. We're always trying to upgrade the show to make it as entertaining and as educational as possible. So those of you who are subscribed to the channel, we every single day try to put out 3 pieces of content during the week. T-Shroom goes live at 9 a.m. with everything breaking in the morning. He's one of the first channels that does it. Make sure you're subscribed. You tune in for his 9 a.m. news live show. Then I usually now am putting out a video with some sort of TA or thought around noon. And then, of course, our conversation and fan engagement here at 3 p.m. We're going to do a lot more conversations about big topics, more so than going in depth on breaking news, unless there is something crazy like today, Uniswap. That's a news story we're going to be talking a lot more about. Let's check out some coins here. Let's look at Bitcoin. Now, we're going to go more in depth. Again, we'll have Q&A today. We're going to be running a little past 4. It's Friday. We'll run past 4 p.m., so we'll definitely get some Q&A in. Again, a special guest coming on the show later. Our tax professional, Ernest, will be with us. But let's check in on Bitcoin because, again, this dictates a lot of what crypto does. Maybe not the AI tokens that are going crazy, based off of what NVIDIA did, but Bitcoin is the leader of crypto. Once again, we've touched a significant support level, but you will see that since this high, when we just touched on the 20th of February, we just touched 23,000, a key level of resistance we've talked about for a while now. We're setting lower highs and flat bottoms right here on this red line at 50,653. Well, today we kind of came to that same zone. We did bounce here nicely, but those lower highs and flat bottoms, that would form what we call a falling triangle or descending triangle. You can go on candle body wicks. You could go on candle body closes. Either way, we see a falling level of resistance here. Unless we see a breaking of this yellow line, which we would need to see, it does look like that should be intact to continue to play out. Even when we come and turn on our Lux Algo indicators, again, shout out to them, sponsor of the channel. I'm still seeing signs that on Bitcoin, we could drop below 50,000. Down here towards this 48,600 level, we have a nice fat order block at that level, our green upward trending level of support here on the 4-hour. We also have our take profit under the sell order we're in. Now, I will say, here's a new one I'm going to start using a lot more on the channel. If you come into Lux Algo, if you have it, if you don't, go check out the link down below. If you're serious about trading and you want to make some money, Lux Algo is the way to go. But this is a smart trail here, and you can see several times in history the smart trail has been used for some key levels of support. When it's broken, it'll flip red or blue and give you a new level to keep your eye on for new entries for longs to short. So that one giving us a little less room. That one kind of takes us to about 50,000 on the dot. But again, if it gets broken, it'll turn red and it'll become a level of resistance rather than a level of support we've been in for a while. Notice it was very, very bullish here after turning bullish back in January on the 27th. It's been bullish, but this sideways trading is making me a little less comfortable with it. One that easily could be broken and turned red coming very, very soon. I'm going to do a quick drive-by of other tokens, and then we're going to jump into our topics for the day we want to discuss. Let's go with Cardano. We are a big fan of Cardano. You guys are big fans of Cardano. But we mentioned the rising channel Cardano had been in over the last couple of days. I told you guys, look for a breakout and potential move back down closer. I started with the level of 57 cents. Those, especially in our trading group, our members, know I talked heavily about 57 cents. Well, we hit that today nicely. I also told you guys, keep an eye out for the 54 cents. Again, fat order block. Take profit, green support here on the 4-hour chart as well. You can see here, like I was just discussing on Bitcoin, we did drop below our blue smart trail, and now we have a red resistance level. So even if we have a nice bounce back up, look for a resistance to get hit and potentially a short position when we get back up into this red smart trail here using Lux Algo. Turning on the oscillators, you can see the money flow is below that bearish threshold and moving to the downside. So Cardano moving kind of exactly as we have called. Solana the same. I'm not here to call anybody out, but we did discuss a lower move towards $93 to $95. We have a nice order block right there. Take profit right there. Our head and shoulders pattern calls for there. And guess what? I saw a lot of comments saying, Tim, you're so wrong. We'll never drop below $100 ever again. We did today. And again, I'm not seeing the signs saying we're necessarily done here. 4-hour chart, the money flow got a little positive here, but it's moving sideways. We're under bullish momentum, but this is not very comforting. When I come out here to the daily chart, you can see money flow strongly still moving to the downside. MACD moving to the downside. The most recent flash we've had here recently was saying we were overbought here on Solana. So again, not going to be surprised to see that be another one that continues to move to the downside if we see some sort of bullish pump. Again, look at this neckline that we had a touch here a couple of days ago. In fact, yesterday we had this touch of the 4-hour chart, turning that support or that former support into resistance. If we rally again, I could see that yellow line being touched again, but there's our smart trail lagging in behind as a very strong level of resistance. Shout out to Alex Green, though, who just gifted 5 new memberships. Thank you so much. Alex Green, by the way, too. Love seeing him in here. One of our friends from across the pond. Always good to have him in here. We're going to take a break from the TA here. We're going to come into get into some conversations, but let us know when we get to the Q&A section, other coins you want to take a look at. As a whole, nothing's necessarily making any crazy new move. We've made some predictions over the last couple of weeks, and it looks like a lot of our predictions are slowly but surely coming true. That's just part of it. But Tish Room, anything you see in chat before we transition to conversation? Anything in chat you want to address, or you want to ready to just go in conversation?
Well, Eric Wallen said that he was your biggest fan, and
nice.
I quickly claimed my place. I minted the NFT
you're the tallest fan.
I'm the tallest fan. Now, yes. Can I prove that? Is there any credibility to that claim? There is not. Yeah. But symbolically and kind of, conceptually, it's true. And in a truer sense, it's not true, but it is true.
I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to think of people that I know here in chat. I have not met all of you. I've met a couple of you, but to be fair, of the people that I have met here in chat, I can't think of a person who I know for a fact is taller than you, T-Shroom.
Blackie Chan said that he's 6'3", which would exceed
that would
the
do
height
it
of my person.
But here's the problem.
I'm
The
5'11".
question is he telling the truth? And there's nothing against Blackie Chan. I'm sure he's a lovely individual, but we do have a couple resident liars here in chat. Like, for example,
some benders
everyone,
of the
if this
truth.
is your first show you ever watched here on Investing Bros, thank you for being here. Smash the like button. Put a 1 in chat. Let's see how many liars we have here today. With that said, though, T-Shroom, we can go ahead and transition. Let's get into some of these topics. Let's start off with Uniswap. Why are people raving about Uniswap? Why is Uniswap up 47.5% on the day?
Well, in short, Tim, it's because people who are holding Uniswap are going to make more money, and people want to hold assets that can spin off.
You could have just said that more people bought it than sold it is the reason why it's up 45%.
Yes. The team at the end of the game that has more points will win the game, regardless.
There we go.
Uniswap jumps 60% on proposal to reward token holders in major governance overhaul. Governance overhaul, for those of you who are crypto natives, kind of says it all. Let's get into some of the details here, though. Cohen's proposal, so there's a proposal for a modification to the governance system. Cohen's proposal is a significant development for the largest decentralized exchange by trading volume, that's being Uniswap, marking a departure from last year's initiative to reward token holders with accrued fees. So this departure would go ahead and move more of the fees to those who have been hodling Uniswap while it has staked to their staking system over there at Uniswap. So ultimately, it's not really rocket science here, right? But if you don't, it's not rocket surgery. If you don't know what staking is, and if you don't know what how you can stake crypto to the blockchain, it might be very confusing and like what governance is. But ultimately, people who have been doing something that is in the interest of Uniswap, they're rewarding them for that. It's kind of like if dividend bonds. Or dividend stocks, if you have it's kind of like a company increasing their dividend, saying, we're going to return more revenue, more profit to the shareholders who have dividend-bearing stocks. It's very, very similar to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another reason to hold and stake your coins over on Uniswap other than other things. I mean, that's got a lot of people bullish. That's why price is rallying. And you heard it here first. It's easier than rocket surgery.
Yep.
For anyone who does surgery on rockets, I hadn't. Did you say it on purpose? Was that not a slip of the tongue?
It's easier than brain science.
Brain science and rocket surgery. You heard it here first. Yeah. No. Ultimately, that's the gist of it. Pretty much, there's a new reason and excuse to stake and to hold your money in Uniswap. And I told you, I don't know if I'm out of myself here. Some people might be surprised. I've never used Uniswap. I think, T-Shroom, you have used Uniswap, correct? Or do you still have a Uniswap account?
Yeah, because Uniswap is going to be where you pick up a lot of gems and you can stake. And then the other thing, too, is like Uniswap is on Robinhood, right? I held a lot of it, and I tweeted out today that HBAR was my biggest regret sell, but now... man, it's Uniswap. Uniswap is my biggest regret. I had a lot of Uniswap, but I sold for a profit. I was just like, man, I can't even remember what I rotated it into. Probably AVAX, which wasn't a bad move, right? But anyway.
Well,
you live and you learn.
I would not be surprised to see Uniswap cool off. I mean, these things aren't built to last forever. Let's look at the Uniswap chart.
Let's do it.
But I do think this is a sign of potential bullishness in the future that Uniswap. I mean, I think it'd be a good idea to own some Uni as well, but I'm talking about using the DEX itself and holding stable coins or staking other coins on there for its rewards. Now, that rally we had this morning did push us pretty much right to the resistance we had of March of 2022. This resistance level, March of 2022, we have talked about this a lot, a very significant level for a lot of coins. So Uniswap just blasting from being pretty much, I don't want to say nowhere near, but close to nowhere near to today, hitting our head on that resistance. We are cooling off here a little bit. Let's pull back up our Lux ALGO. Yeah, blasting through the resistance. Again, you need crazy bullish narrative. This was not going to happen without a massive news story like this. That is exactly what happened. do not be surprised to cool back off. The question, how far down should we cool off? I don't think it's as simple as saying all the way back down to where we have the most recent order block. I'm sure if we go to the 4-hour chart, we're going to see some order blocks right here. Yeah. I don't know if it's that simple. It could go back there, but I think a good candidate should be somewhere right here around this resistance mark that has been kind of significant. We're going to drop.
No.
We're putting.
Hold on, Tim. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
We got a problem here because before
Uh-oh.
you show these folks the good levels here to watch for Uniswap, I need to see these likes higher. We got 30 likes, 100 people watching. Let's get the likes up. All right, Tim. Let's see those levels.
All right, well, I just put a nice little zone in here, some resistance, other than a breakthrough we had back here, which, again, could be an interesting spot as well. But I would almost say if you see this level of uni, again, $7.62 to about $8, you're looking at a pretty good spot. Let's look at what fixed range volume is going to be looking like. All right, so since the bull market, we have a point of control right in here. Let's come down to since that March date, that high. Let's see here. Yeah, kind of right there, the value area high. If you would go back to that high on in March or April of 2022, and you just look at what the bearish price action has looked like, keep an eye on that level right there where the value area high is. Again, right above $7, somewhere between $7 and $8, I think could be a potential cool off scenario. These things aren't built to just go skyrocket up and to the right. I say that, of course, you see things like Singularity Net that has just continued to go crazy up and high to the right. We're not going to do any Singularity TA today because I did it in a video earlier. If you're interested in Render and Singularity Net TA, go watch my video after the show. But I think that kind of wraps up this topic. Uniswap doing something very bullish. Look for a pullback. Go put some money in there as a DEX to make some rewards. Stake your coins over there.
If you
bada
want.
Bing, bada boom. Yeah. If you want. This is not financial advice, but just do it.
Some other options, just so we can prove that we're not shilling Uniswap here, staking services. Lido, also another pretty good one. I had my ETH staked on Lido. I went ahead and took it off and just holding it. Keep in mind that there's staking time. So I don't know what it is for Uniswap, but for Lido, it was like 48 hours. I had to wait before I could take my ETH and go put it back in my cold wallet. So just something to know, something to be aware of. Nothing really wrong with that. I don't think there's anything bad with having a time. It's just good to know. Good to know what you're getting yourself into.
Speaking of being aware of something, T-Shroom. Speaking of being aware of something, let's do a quick check-in on our Blofin trade.
Let's do it.
We're up 21%. Up 21% right now. 20% just dipped a little bit. $4.50 profit. So, and listen, if we get this will be, it's just 4 or 5. Again, I thought we were going to lose some of them. We have not lost one of these community trades
Yeah, we haven't
yet.
lost one single.
So you guys have been killing it, giving great suggestions. The charts look good. We're going to let this one ride a little more. Again, I think our take profit with Ajax, let's go back to that 15-minute chart. What was our take profit level that if we hits, I'm going to go and just put it up there. Let's put a take profit at 69.2 cents, 69.3 cents. Let's do a take profit at 69.3 cents. This is nice and easy. 0.693. If we get that, I did not put the 0 point. If we get that, we will exit. Come on now. 0.693. You hate when things go enough. All right, that'll be a $62 profit, by the way. If we get that.
Very nice.
Whoa, that'd be awesome. But
wait, are you adding to it? I totally zoned out. I was reading comments. Did you
I just put a take profit. I just put a take profit.
Okay.
That's pretty aggressive. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty aggressive. What would the 5-minute lowest one be there? It's probably going to tell me right in here. Okay, maybe we should change it to 73.8. I'm going to do that. I'm going to change
Go
it.
ahead and change
Go ahead and do that. Yeah,
All right. This whole Uniswap situation is really asking me the question, is it DEX season, baby? And I want to let you guys know why I don't think it is, but let me explain what I mean. So in crypto, there's different seasons, right? Bitcoin definitely seems to be the leader of each season, although Chainlink has kind of been a little bit of a leader this go around, which hasn't been interesting. But you have Chainlink essentially, and then Bitcoin reacts to what Chainlink did, and then Ethereum reacts to what Bitcoin did. And then if all of those kind of stay sideways and they trade sideways, there's not huge liquidity inflows or outflows in the actual spot markets, then you start to get altcoin seasons. We've seen VeChain pop off. We've seen Caspa pop off in recent weeks. Today, obviously, Uniswap popped off. And it was great timing for Uniswap PR team to release the news that they did, that there was going to be some governance. But that is what leads us to the answer no. Why this is not DEX season? Because this is not a seasonal cycle. This is 100% PR news driven. And if you go over and you look at DeFi Llama, these names are not popping off. PancakeSwap, Curve Finance, Camelot, Orca, QuickSwap, the Thorchain. These are not names that are popping off today. If we go over to the green bubbles for today, it's actually decidedly red on the day for altcoins. Let me refresh just to make sure we're getting an accurate read here. Yep. So decidedly red on average, but we have some high flyers, obviously. So in order for me to call it, some kind of like DEX season, I would need to see PancakeSwap at least, if not some of these other names that Curve Finance, some of the bigger ones that are out there. So ultimately, guys, this is kind of the way that I would answer that question. If you were sitting there thinking, "Ooh, I'm gonna sell all my Bitcoin, all of my Ethereum, I'm gonna triple mortgage my home and go all in on DEXs because it's DEX season," be very careful with that. Be very careful with that logic. It probably won't hold up. Well, We've got an interesting soundbite. This is from somebody I don't think we've ever played before. It's a soundbite from Michael Sonheisen. Sonsenshin. It's a really difficult name to pronounce. This is the CEO of Grayscale, and he's chiming in essentially on the Ethereum ETF. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen.
An spot Ethereum ETF is a matter of when, not a matter of if. And
you say that because with such confidence.
I say that with confidence because my team has been doing the tough work to move this industry forward, work constructively with regulators, focus on disclosure, investor protections, and that's been true for Bitcoin. Proud of the work we did with GBTC, and now.
Do you think? Look, it took a lawsuit to get Gary Gensler to back down on this, right? I mean, and we just had Gary here recently, and you saw that interview. I'd love to get your reaction to it. But clearly, left to his own devices, this is not the outcome that he would have preferred. Mm-hmm. I think that's, at least in between the lines, that's what I think he has said.
Oh, interesting. We're going to play the rest of the clip. I didn't notice that the first time I listened. Left to his own devices. CNBC chief correspondent there, basically all but saying it was not Gary Gensler's decision. It was which way his vote went. Interesting.
Yeah. Public opinion there, but that's a good catch there, T-Shirt.
Well, he actually wrote a pretty strong dissenting letter around this and really focused on the Grayscale lawsuit the day that the approvals for spot Bitcoin ETFs came out.
And so, which then begs the question, on the Ethereum front, if that is to move forward in a meaningful way, does that require another suit?
It's too early to say. I think we have a similar dynamic in the market where the SEC has allowed for and approved Ethereum futures ETFs to come to market. The data suggests in a very similar way to Bitcoin that spot Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures have an inextricable tie. The markets have a 99.9% correlation. Same is true around Ethereum. And so we do have a very similar dynamic here.
All right, Tim. Is he being truthful here? Do you think he's seeing into the glass ball clearly, saying it's a matter of when, not if? Or do you think he's just trying to pump his Ethereum bags so that you'll be his exit liquidity?
I think it's a matter of when, not if. That was a fun little drink you had right there. That was nice. Cool. So the thing that I'm curious about that he even said right there is, will it take another lawsuit? That's going to be the intriguing thing. Again, remember, the deadline is May. We're not expecting an approval before the deadline, before the first hardcore deadline. But should it take another lawsuit? There's just no way he's going to win that lawsuit. Except there's one way. There's one way that the SEC and Gary Gensler could delay, hold off, get sued, and then win that lawsuit. And it would be if they decided to call Ethereum a security. That's it. Bitcoin and Ethereum have been treated so similarly as assets by the SEC recently. What the precedence of approving a Bitcoin one and then denying Ethereum, at this point, there's no reason for that. So he has the right to wait all the way until May. After that, that's an easy lawsuit to win, except if he were to say, yeah, it's a security. It's a security. It's different than Bitcoin. That's it. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's tough, right? Because the precedent now is that anything, I guess, more decentralized or more crypto-y, right, than XRP is not a security, right? So that's in my mind, that's kind of the baseline that a judge is going to be looking at, saying, hey, Gary, convince me that Ethereum is less of a security, or I'm sorry, more of a security than XRP, right? And they're going to be looking at dimensions of decentralization, ICOs, initial coin offerings, and things like that. And they're going to be saying this is essentially the same, if not more, in the direction of not being a security. So I think you're right. I think that ultimately, man, I say this, but it's like I could also see it going the other way. I think that the SEC has learned their lesson here, and they're gonna just wait till the 23rd. They're gonna completely botch the PR moment of the release of the approval news, but it's gonna get approved, and I don't think there'll be a lawsuit for this one, just because I think that it's such a cut and dry for the legal teams to say, well, XRP is decidedly not a security by the U.S. judicial system. Right. How are we going to sneak the ball past with that big glaring obstacle? And I just but that's my prediction. But it's like, hey, if the legal team convinces them to pay a bunch of more fees to a bunch of legal researchers, then there's an incentive right there. A bunch of people making money. You never underestimate a bunch of lawyers collecting fees. So I think there's always a chance for a lawsuit on those grounds. But I think overall, it is a matter of if, not when. But I could see that May 23rd deadline be a little bit early for where we could see the actual approval of it.
But you think it is if, not when, not if?
I think it's when, not if.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you just misspoke. So that's surprised by you said it that way.
And if it's whether it's in May or whether it's in August, right? If it's if it has to go into lawsuits, then perhaps it does. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Well, Tim, I've got another. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say last thing I'll say. Everyone knows here in the community, T-Shroom and I have ourselves a little stake bet.
We do.
T-Shroom is 1-0 with stake bets. We did get the Bitcoin approval for this ETF in January on the 10th. We have another one though that Gary Gensler will not be the chairman. T-Shroom thinks he will not be the chairman. The ETF is approved, and here's what I'll say. I think it gets approved by May. I think you think it gets approved by May. I don't think Gary Gensler is going anywhere before May. However, if he does find some BS reason to delay the ETF for Ethereum, could that be the precedence for his firing? And then your bet is right. I think that's your road to success. Is he denies it and pushes it past May, and then Congress says that's it, you're done, you're an idiot. And then
I'm gonna stick to my bet. I made the bet. We're happy. We love it. It's great TV. Yeah. But the reality is that at this point, I'm not feeling very confident. See, what I thought was going to happen, and specifically the terms of the bet, which were only ever documented verbally in the live stream, was
we have good honor here.
Gary Gensler would not be voting for the Ethereum ETF because he would be fired, right? Yeah. Or he just wouldn't.
Or he just resigned, or he's gone. Like one way, he's not in the SEC.
The pressure, the moment of that pressure cooker moment for Gary, I think is over. I think if Congress was going to move, they would have already done it. But there's a chance, there's a chance if interests whip up enough, kind of fury and frenzy and pressure and create another moment around this Ethereum spot ETF, there could potentially be, that congressional question come back up. They try to push it. But the thing is like, it's in my mind, it's got to get all the way to Biden's desk, right? I don't know that for a fact. I'm not a congressional systems expert, but my guess is that it would have to go touch the executive branch, if not through the cabinets, through Biden himself. So we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. But Tim, I've got something I want to show you here. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this? It's coming, Tim. Elon Musk hints at launching Xmail as alternative to Gmail, even as Google's service says here to stay. So this is for real, because I did see this tweet. I saw this tweet from Google saying here to stay. That to me is Google kind of saying we're scared, right? So what do you think about this Xmail? I thought you could be forgiven for thinking Xmail has something completely different, but it is what it sounds like.
Yeah, hopefully it's not what it sounds like. Is rather what we want. No, I mean I've said it before and I'll say it again. Elon Musk is a hard man to bet against. When he says he wants to get something accomplished, there are very few things. I'm not saying he's 100%, but there are a few things he says I want to do that he has not gotten done. Success level, I mean, you always have to give things time before you can say that they're successful or not. But I think it'll happen. Of course, Gmail has been massive, especially more recently for businesses to get set up in and just personal accounts as well. It will be interesting to see him compete with XMail, but I do think there's a large facet of not just Americans, but worldwide that are just sick and tired of the antics that go on with the Google and the I'm not all the other likewise companies that are very centralized, very censorship pro accounts. I think people are kind of dying for an actual freedom of speech platform. X is doing it on the social media front. Of course, he's now getting into the financial world, and now he wants to get into communication via emails and how business is set up and whatnot. I think there's a massive demand for Xmail to be a success, and we'll have to see how that happens, how that works out.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, Tim, we've got our guest here, and I am extremely proud to go ahead and introduce Ernest Lee. Ernest, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. I'm just
Awesome.
living the dream out here in Utah, Southwest
There we
Utah,
go.
about 2 hours outside of Vegas.
There we go. Now it's heating up in the tax season. Now we are almost done with
is.
February. Of course, most people are waiting until April 15th to do their taxes, as is a holiday tradition here in the United States. But how is business going? Are you getting a lot of new signups here recently? A lot of people calling and getting their taxes done. Are you still anticipating a rush at the end of March, early April?
We get a steady trickle in of 4 or 5 a day right now.
Nice.
There's pent up demand. I can see a number of people that have logged onto the site and they've had a look at the limited amount of information we have on the website there, but they've had a look already, and I think they're just waiting till they get all their information in.
Right.
Gotcha.
And before we go too much further, I do want to let everyone know this is Ernest from Decrypted.tax, of course, one of the sponsors of our channel. He is the GOAT of taxes. He does mine and T-Shrooms taxes, and we are forever grateful because he's a genie at it. You guys have to click the link down below, even just get a 60-minute free consultation with him to give some tax advice to you guys. Again, what's cool about him, he's not just a CPA, he is an attorney, which means if anything goes awry with your taxes, he will represent you. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ernest, you have never lost a case in your life, have you?
Well, I can't say. What I can say is that I've never lost a tax court. I've won all my cases in tax court.
There we go.
In audits, we sometimes hit middle road. Most often, the problem is that we don't have enough data. So customers or clients of ours that don't keep their receipts or that don't keep their accounting properly, that creates a problem. But we do our best, and we have a really good track record in crypto. Let me think here. Yeah, any audit that I've had in crypto has resulted in a favorable result for the client. In most cases, the auditors just need you to explain to them what's happening because they don't have a lot of technical knowledge as to how things work.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, go check out that link down below. Now, I want to go into a place, T-Shroom and I have gotten asked lots of questions, but today I wanted to bring you on, Ernest, to answer some chat questions. So chat, go ahead and start flooding the comments, flooding the chat section with some of your favorite or biggest tax questions for Ernest. We did get one from our members in Discord. Shout out to Mr. J. I put a message in there earlier today saying, hey guys, Ernest is coming on. Give me your tax questions. And I'm gonna assume to say it, even though he was the only one that did it in Discord, this question he knocked out of the park. I'm very curious what the answer is. He says, should you get an LLC? Does it benefit you? And if it does benefit you, when does it start? Meaning the amount of money you are trading. So specifically, he's talking about for my individual trades. I'm an individual, but I'm trading maybe high volume, lots of money. Should I be getting a LLC to do all of that in? Is that legal? Should I go that way? What are your thoughts?
You can, and we have a number of clients that we set up LLCs for. Being an attorney myself, I can help set up those LLCs. And it depends on it does depend on what a particular client is doing in trading, and how much expenses they have that are related expenses that they can't necessarily deduct if they don't treat it as a separate business. The problem is with any active day trader, whether you're trading crypto or trading stocks, and you're doing it as a business, you have ordinary income on those trades. And so for a lot of clients, they want to have long-term capital gains. So they want to hold on to stuff for more than a year so that they get the favorable rates. And in those cases, it's more favorable just to stick with the long-term capital gains and not necessarily run it through an LLC.
There you go.
Oh, makes sense. That makes sense. So you're saying if you're day trading, but you're going to hold out for long term and not cash out, stay away from the LLC. But if you are wanting to take profits throughout the process, it might be smart to set up an LLC. Awesome.
It might be, and it just depends on what you're doing. I mean, we run the numbers both ways. When we bring clients in, we use the tax software to run the numbers for us, and we just picked up one of now it's our largest client who has over 400,000 transactions per year. So we do everything
per year.
Yeah.
Is it Berkshire Hathaway
high
frequency trading division?
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of trades.
Goodness gracious.
But we do everything from people who have Cash App and they don't trade, they just buy, and to people who buy in one of the exchanges. And most often it's an education process. And one of the most common questions I get is, hey, I put everything in Kraken and I haven't taken any cash out, so that means I don't have any tax. And that's just not the case. The IRS is still going to tax you on the activity within Kraken, same as if it was going back to your bank account. And so if you trade one coin for another coin, there's a taxable transaction and we need to record it.
Right. Yeah. Now, I ran the math on this real quick because that number baffles me. If a trader was trading for 10 hours a day, 365 days of the year, that means every day, by the way, guys. That's 110 trades an hour consistently. That's a bot, right? Like that's a bot. That person is, okay, thank the Lord. Yeah, because otherwise I don't know how you do that. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yep. Somebody with a lot of caffeine.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's that. I mean, you need more than 4 screens behind you if you're going to do that.
But even with a bot, I mean, that's a lot of reporting we have to do. I mean, we still have to do a Schedule D for that individual who has all that information flowing through to their personal tax return. So
I've got a quick question.
It's a lot.
I've always wondered this. Is like when you're handling a high frequency trader like that, at what point do you have to document? Are you documenting? Are you just taking data from a spreadsheet and essentially submitting that to the IRS directly, copy and pasting, or are you having to go in manually and put a brain cell to each transaction?
You do. So with each transaction, you have to identify how much it costs you. And so if you're going to get $100 for whatever you're selling, you need to identify where was it you got it and how much did you pay. So you can't just give all that data raw to the IRS. You have to actually identify and specifically identify the crypto that you're selling. And that's a large part of our business. And we're working with a number of the data aggregators, CoinLedger, Coinly, ZenLedger, and those. And we do that because we have a lot of clients that are on those platforms. But we're in the process of developing a proprietary platform that we'll use that'll gather all that information.
There you go.
And that'll do it a lot better than well, some of them, I mean, for instance, I keep mine on CoinLedger, and it does great. There's just a lot of missing data, a lot of missing information, especially, and most of it's my fault. It's my fault because it goes through and it says, okay, you're missing this. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. That's that hardware wallet. I forgot is where I transferred that from. And I had transferred it from Binance over to that hardware wallet on such and such date. And so I need to track all of that. And, I was the reason we started this tax practice. Decrypted tax started because we had a lot of clients in my other tax practice that traded crypto, but also because I was actively trading, and I wasn't doing that many trades as a bot would do, but I was doing 20 or 30 trades a day. And there's a lot of work to be done for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, this is 2018, I think. I thought about handing it over to someone else to let them do it. And I'm a tax attorney. And so, I went in, I dug in, and I got, I have one of my guys that was very proficient. He's been mining since 2012. He was very proficient at it, and so Lincoln and I got together and we put our heads together and we got it done. And then I asked Lincoln in 2020 or be 2021, I asked Lincoln, hey, do we want to start up another tax practice that just focuses on this stuff? Because all the headaches that we had, I'm sure there are hundreds of people out there, thousands of people out there that have the same headaches, and that or otherwise, they're very financially minded. It's just that the tax aspects around it, they work in a different way than most. And so we started decrypted tax. I started decrypted tax, and Lincoln still works with me. And we've been scaling year over year. It's been really good. We've been growing, and with growth, we have more time to devote to researching certain positions that we can take on tax returns that are advantageous to our clients. And so we're not a computer program where you just plug it all in. We're, accountants, enrolled agents, and tax attorneys that understand how this works and
I love it,
and can help you plan.
Yeah.
Now before we get too much further on, because we do have some other chats, I have a follow-up question. We can be brief with, but I'm curious to your answer. Now, you said you use CoinLedger. I've been looking even more recently to some of these companies. Are there any companies you specifically recommend? Do you think CoinLedger is the best of those trackers? Is there any company, and again, we're not sponsored by any of them, so you can say anything you want here. Yep. Is there any you would warn people, hey, stay away from that tax tracking service?
There aren't any that I'd warn them away from.
Okay.
I have different people that have different levels of experience with each one of them, and we regularly use them, all of them. We're currently, it's very early. We're testing our new software that we're going to be using, proprietary software that we're going to be using to do the information. You got the first scoop on that. I hadn't told anybody about that. We've been working on it for some time now. So.
Breaking news.
Heard it here first. We have a super chat here from Eric Wallen saying, Ernest. I love it. This is very personal. Eric's being very personal here, even including the name in the chat. Ernest, I have a lot of Bitcoin I hold in profit. Well, what a flex, Eric. I also use Bitcoin to transfer money from my Robinhood account because it's faster. Buy Bitcoin, transfer, then sell. How does that work tax-wise?
So the transfer isn't a taxable event. When you transfer from any wallet to another or any exchange to another, it's not a taxable event. It's something we want to track because we want to know where your historical basis is. So if you bought it on Robinhood, however many years ago, and you've had it held there, we need to be able to track that so we know how much you paid for it. And so that's an important thing there.
Makes sense.
Smart.
Good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Eric, for that super chat. We also got one from Army Piper. I was going to ask earlier if the guy making 110 trades an hour for 365 days of the year was Army Piper, because that seems like something he would do. He said, this is a good question. What are the biggest myths in taxable events in crypto? There are a lot. You could hear 1,000 different answers from 1,000 different people on what is taxable, what's not taxable, how you should handle your crypto taxes. This is one of the reasons why I'm so glad that I have you as my tax attorney, because I'm not sure of all of these. What's the biggest one you come across that's a myth that most people seem to believe about their taxes?
That's a really good question, because there's a whole list. I could have made a list beforehand, but I will. The idea that you can move outside the U.S. and keep all your crypto outside the U.S. and then you don't have a taxable event for the U.S. purposes is a myth. You have to actually surrender your passport, and there's an exit charge. So it's as though you sold the crypto on the day that you surrender your passport. That's when you'll have a tax. So if you bought Bitcoin in 2013 and today you're just going to expatriate so that you can avoid the capital gains tax when you sell it, that's not going to work. The other thing is, I was just talking to someone else about this. We get varying degrees of questions about this. People say, well, I put all my money in the exchange and I bought and I never took anything out. And
Right.
it always throws up a red flag when somebody says that, because then I ask, well, did you trade crypto for crypto while it was in the exchange? And they say, well, yeah, but I didn't take anything out. Well, that's a taxable event.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it's just as though you sold it for cash and that day and you reinvested that cash in the new crypto. And so that does create a taxable event. That being said, with proper tax planning, people don't have to worry so much. I get a lot of clients who jump through a lot of hoops to avoid taxation and avoid protection. And honestly, if they would have just reported it right in the first place, they'd be in a lot better place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So I would want to clarify here. So, one of our sponsors here is Blofin. We love Blofin. If you guys looking to trade, go use it. So, I mean, I would say I probably don't have 110 trades per hour for 365 days of the year, but I put on a good amount of trades every single day. Now, I'm never moving it off. I'm going, for example, I'll trade AVAX, and then I'll take the profits into Tether, and then I'll trade Cardano, and then take the profits to Tether. At the end of the year, if everything of mine is still sitting in Blofin, I need to report that in my taxes, correct?
That's right.
And I pay for that. So I haven't taken anything off. Am I paying short-term capital gains on every single trade? Do I get a long-term? What does that look like if I've made all those trades in Blofin?
If you held the crypto for less than a year, it's a short-term capital gain.
Gotcha.
If you held it for more than a year, then it's a long-term capital gain.
There you go. Yes, yeah. I think that's the biggest one to me. That's what I thought the answer was. But I remember early on, there was a lot of speculation. People are like, oh, if I move my money into a trading exchange and then just trade, but I never move it back out into US dollars, I don't have to report any of that. And I can just hold it for long-term capital gains. And it's like, no. And that's the one I've told people before here, and maybe you can back this up because you're the professional. I am not. The IRS has not necessarily had the manpower in recent years to crack down on that. How much do you think in not only this year, but years to come after 2024, the IRS is going to be cracking down on people with that line of thinking?
They're going to be cracking down. They're getting a lot smarter. I regularly talk to auditors from the IRS, and 2 years ago, I was just educating them, and they'd never had any experience with it. And today, in most cases, they've had some experience with it, but we're still educating them. I provide a lot of information to IRS auditors to try to explain to them how different things work. Lending protocols is a big one. Staking has been something that they've been trying to wrap their heads around, and sometimes they don't get it right. But yeah, they're getting smarter and smarter every day.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Couple more questions here.
And smarter. And don't get me wrong. I want to stress this. Smarter is good, because when I was first doing it, they get out a hammer and just hit everything that looked like a nail.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really going overboard. And in many cases, after we explained it, we got back down to long-term capital gains and a lot lower rate than what they were looking at.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Couple more questions here. Ryan Schutz says, is Puerto Rico still a tax haven for capital gains?
It is. And Puerto Rico, you don't have to surrender your passport like we talked about with some jurisdictions. But there is a capital gains rate. It's lower than the U.S. rate for the U.S. federal rate, and I don't remember what it is right offhand. I just looked at this last week for a client, and it is a lower capital gains rate in Puerto Rico. There's still capital gains though.
So if I made 400,000 trades last year in 2023, and I moved to Puerto Rico here in a couple months, did I get to write all that tax off?
No, because you made those trades while you were still here, ordinarily resident in the United States.
Just wanted to coordinate that. Well, let's see here. Xsin said, if I make this is an interesting question. If I make $170,000 in Bitcoin, how do I lower my taxes? So I'm going to have to go ahead and say this is $170,000 of profit in Bitcoin.
Yep.
How do I lower my taxes is the question here.
Well, specific identification is a really good thing. So there's a couple different accounting methods that people use to track their crypto. Last in, first out, which means the last Bitcoin that you bought is the first Bitcoin that you sell. Highest in, first out. That is the highest basis Bitcoin that you have is the first Bitcoin that you sell. And then lowest in, first out, LIFO, which would be the lowest basis, and that's to accelerate income. There are cases where you want to accelerate income. And then specific identification, where you specifically identify for this particular transaction what Bitcoin it is that you're selling. And so that's where it's important to have a human rather than a computer looking at all these transactions. And then also because the human has an idea what your tax effects is. So if you have, for instance, if you have a long-term capital loss and some real estate that you have that you can offset some of your long-term capital gains, there's some buckets that you have to put that in, but there's sometimes we can take advantage of some of those losses to offset gains. And so we might want to accelerate gains in the current year.
Yeah.
It just depends. It's a case by case basis.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it. Well, I'm seeing some more questions in here, which means there should be some knocks on your door, Ernest.
I'm here all day.
Folks are going to take action. They're going to rush on over to decrypted.tax and they're going to book a free 30 or 60-minute consultation with you, Ernest. And it's so awesome because we talk about this and we try to convince people. And Ernest is really cool. He's great. You're right here. So everybody knows that now. We don't have to say that. Decrypted.tax. Now, I do have a factoid of the day, and it is brought to you guys by Nord. No, I'm just kidding. Decrypted.tax, of course. And the factoid.
Make sure they're clicking your link. Make sure they're clicking your link. It's decrypted.tax/bros.
Yes, absolutely. And you can find that link in the description below. So that's where you want to click. And if you do just go straight to the website, make sure that you tell Ernest that we sent you.
XN, real quick. I don't want to say XN just says, thank you so much. I will be calling you in the future.
There you go.
There you go. Everyone, you need to be more like XN. Go call him.
I love it.
Get this call. There we go. What's our question?
What U.S. city hosts the Harley-Davidson headquarters? Is it? Oh, you kind of have to San Diego, California, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or is it Miami, Florida, or could it potentially be Omaha, Nebraska?
Oh, gosh. What are you thinking, Ernest?
Tim's phoning a friend right off the bat.
Well,
I have no idea.
It's Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Really?
Okay. We got our first guess. Very confident guess.
That throws me. Yeah, no, his confidence there is really throwing me. I literally was looking at this and I'm thinking, I don't know why. I narrowed it to A and C, Miami and San Diego.
I know.
But he says it with such confidence, and I trust him with my taxes, and I trust him with my factoids. I'm going to join him with B. The last time I went against a guest, it did not go well for me either. So we're both going to go B here, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And you would be 100% correct. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, U.S. is the headquarters for Harley-Davidson, the makers of one of the most iconic American motorcycles. And why do I bring this up? It's because, Ernest, you're part of an awesome live stream. And tell everybody about that.
So I own a motorcycle company.
There you go.
Combat Motors.
That's why you said it. There's good. That's a good point.
That's why I was laughing because that was kind of an easy question. I have a motorcycle company. We build motorcycles here in Hurricane, Utah, and I moved it from Birmingham last year. We were in Birmingham, Alabama, for a number of years. There you are. And so we build some pretty exciting motorcycles. We're in design right now for a new bike that we're building.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Dude. I'm not just saying that. That's like awesome. I've never seen one that looks like that before. Dude,
that's super
It's like the Terminator one.
And it's freaking sold out. That's the problem. We got to get more of them.
Yeah. That's why we have the new model. The new model
there we go.
We'll come out with later this year, and we'll have lots of those available.
Super cool.
Cool. Now, okay, before we go, I just had this thought cross my brain. And I'm curious. I don't know the answer to this one. So I really hope this is good. I've seen a lot of businesses like to pay their taxes as the year goes on, so they don't have to wait till the end of the year and then just piles up and they have this massive check. So again, I remember being a part of a company where we paid quarterly. We just every quarter we paid the taxes ahead. is that the case for individuals as well? If individuals are
It is.
expecting big returns, they can handle it as well. So anyone who's
Yep.
maybe dealing with a lot of crypto gains because they're killing it in trading over on Blofin using Lux ALGO, but they want to pay their tax as it goes ahead, they could actually call you and be signing up quarterly. They don't have to wait until next year. They could go ahead and get that advice now.
And we have a number of clients that we do quarterlies because the problem is, so in the first year, you can usually get away with it because the requirement is that you've paid in 90% of your prior year tax liability, or I'm sorry, 90% of your current year tax liability or 110% of your prior. And so you won't end up in penalties for late paying. But in the second year, then you're going to have to file quarterlies and you're going to have to pay quarterly based on your estimated tax liability from the activity from that quarter. And so if you don't do that in your second year and you get to the end and you haven't paid in the appropriate amounts per quarter, you will have some penalties for underpayment.
Interesting. And if you report one quarter with more losses, again, crypto gets to a fishy area. So if I report one quarter in losses, that rolls over into the next quarter if the next quarter is very profitable, right?
That's right. That's right.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Ernest, thank you so much for joining us again today. And again, we have a couple months left here. I want to have you back on here in a couple more weeks. But if you guys enjoyed Ernest, again, A, smash the like button. B, hit subscribe. C, go give him a call with that link down below. Click on the link, call Ernest, talk to him for anywhere between 0 to 60 minutes. Ask him any questions you want. Sign up with his link. He really is the best that I've ever seen. I've actually interacted with a couple different tax CPAs when it comes to crypto. Never met a single person as wise and as honest as Ernest. So, Ernest, thank you so much for sponsoring the channel and for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, T-Shroom, it is 4:06.
It is.
You want to take like maybe two questions? I told everyone we're going long day. It's Friday. Let's do 2 questions for Q&A.
Okay.
You guys can ask us anything you want to ask us. The floor is yours. We can look at TA. You can ask about T-Shroom skin routine, skincare routine. You can ask about how I...
Is that something you're wondering about, Tim? It sounds like maybe something's on your mind about my skincare routine.
I get access to you at any point I want. I'm going to ask that off air. But if someone asks it here, then
Great
I get
answer.
the answer during the live show. So
the finesse of the master. I love it.
Goodness gracious. Oh, goodness. Yeah, go ahead and start writing in your questions here. Let's check in here.
I'll let you know. It's all avocados. I just eat a ton of avocados, and I get out in the sun. I get that organic vitamin D. My cells are doing the photosynthesis. If that happens in humans as well as plants, if not, then it's not photosynthesis. But that's my skincare routine.
All right, here we go. I have to create a chat here.
Yes.
Let's see here. Am I in the right one?
Creating a poll.
Why is it not? A poll. That's what I mean. Starting a poll.
Okay.
Are we TP or wait?
Take profits or wait? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're going to be doing this here. I got to take a look here. We have our trade right now. Let's go ahead and look at it real quick. I'm going to be submitting this poll. Should we take profit? Go ahead and go to my screen here.
Okay.
We're sitting at 17% profit, up $3.89. Should we take profit, or should I put a stop loss potentially up here around 0.82? Which I probably have to go actually more than that. Let's see. If I'm at 25, I can only go 4%. What would 4% be? Where is my tool right here? Is it going to be right here? There we go. Price range. What do we got here? 4% would put me at about... Okay, should we just let it die? Should we let it ride, or should we take profit? Again, I feel pretty decent about making a move down to these levels again, but I got to submit the poll. You guys have to vote on it. What should we do? And we'll announce the winner, of course, tomorrow. I will, if we have not hit the take profit and we're still active in the trade, we'll take profit tomorrow for our Saturday live show. But vote on that one. Let's see what the questions are here in chat. Mike Play said, thank you for the guest. Ryan says, what price do you think TIA will peak at? Actually, I remember Ryan had some other good questions. He said, should I sell my Bitcoin for chain links to maximize gains? Let's start with that one. Should I sell my one Bitcoin for chain link to maximize gains? The first answer is definitely not 100% of it. I'm a big proponent of, even though the gains are going to be minimal compared to other cryptos, I say that, but no one can say that 100%. Like, there is a scenario that people don't talk about, but it's very real, that Bitcoin could get given a green light and just go nuts. And all the altcoins that have been called securities by the SEC, they won't die because guess what? Just because the American government says something doesn't mean it kills it worldwide. But if the American government does deem something a security and then stifles it or even comes up with regulation that blocks it, that would be a massive hit to a price of an altcoin. Now, it's not going to happen to Chainlink. Again, I'm saying this because Chainlink they're going to work with so many companies that's not going to happen. But there is a scenario where cryptos die and Bitcoin makes it. So you definitely want to keep a portion of that in Bitcoin. I am a big fan of being a one coiner in the Bitcoin world. But if I'm being honest with you, I do think a portion, if that's all you have, like if all I had was one Bitcoin, I own no other crypto, I'm a fan of diversifying. Keeping a portion, maybe as high as 50% of my portfolio, maybe building it down closer to 20%, but I still would hold, I hold more Bitcoin. I hold a higher percentage of Bitcoin than any other crypto, just as a philosophy. I still have a lot spread out, but that's my personal opinion there. Who is that? Ryan. I would diversify, but I would not do 100%. And I think there's a lot of people who are tempted to do that. I know a lot of people who are very smart who own no Bitcoin because they're like, guys, there's no gains to be made. I sit here and saying, I spread out. I know what I'm worth. I know that Bitcoin is a safe investment. So I'm going to keep at least a portion of my portfolio over there. Good question, Ryan. Second one he asked, what price do you think TIA will peak at? I have not even begun to look at what my long-term TIA prediction is. Let's just take a quick look at what we have here.
TIA.
Part of the problem is the coin is just not old enough to give too much long-term analysis on. These are worthless at this point, so don't pay attention to those. That was a while ago. I think I was showing something else for a very small time frame. You're definitely getting a little bit of rounding top here, but that's so hard. What if we were to go to TIA? Let's look at what the current market cap could be. TIA. That's not I don't want titanium. TIA. Is TIA not on coin market cap? Celestia. Okay, there we go. Celestia, current market cap. Circuit supplies right here. Total supply. Oh, man. Whew. Now, here's a problem, guys. Look at the circulating supply. No max supply. And look at what the current total supply is, meaning at any minute those could go. I don't know all the details of the tokenomics, but that could be huge, and that means like little over 16% of total supply is in circulation. That's not a great sign right there. Yeah. Current, where's the market cap? Where's the market right here? Market cap $2 billion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could see TIA T-Shroom. Tell me if you disagree. And again, this ranking system just has to do with market cap. I'm gonna get out of just the top 20. What the heck? Scroll. What just happened? My chart froze. They're coming to get us. All right. I could see TIA. Where are we? Celestia. Where is Celestia ranked? Right here, 40. I could see TIA being, in terms of market cap, a top 20 coin. I think realistically, when you're thinking top 20 and you're thinking the top of the bull market, we're probably looking somewhere in the category of at least 20 billion. I would imagine 20 billion, give or take. That's a big boost for the market cap, which means if no supply did anything, we're talking about a little less than a 10x, but let's go at 27. Let's give it a 10x in terms of market cap. But that supply kind of scares me. So I'm going to say price action. Best case scenario, we're looking at about 160 for TIA. I think realistically, you're going to put yourself maybe a little over 50 is a more realistic expectation. Now, I don't have a lot to base it on. I'm doing a lot of very quick thinking on my feet with the different things. I don't know the inflation rate. I guess I could Google it. Let's see, inflation rate of Celestia. But that changes all the time.
Let's check it out.
Come on, spelling.
Good old Celestia.
Currently, it stands at 8%. Remember, we've done some of this recently. That's a pretty aggressive inflation rate, and you need to have an aggressive one when you print that fast. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and here and say, guys, I think best case scenario, we're talking about somewhere closer to $100. I think realistic scenario,
Yeah, makes sense.
$50 maybe. That's still good money. That's still good return. But those tokenomics are not the best tokenomics I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think I agree with that.
Mellow Fellow just said, long show today. I like it. That's another thing. I can't promise every single day of the week that we can go real long, but do you guys like the show running a little past 60 minutes? Do you like 60 minutes? Do you want less than 60 minutes? The good news is we have a 30-minute live show in the morning and we have about a 10 to 15-minute video in the afternoon. Let me know in the comments, do you like long shows? With that said, though, we're going to go ahead and wrap it out today. Thank you once again to our guest today, good old Ernest from Cryptid .tax. Go check him out. Also, check out our other sponsors as well. T-Shroom, tomorrow we will have ourselves a nice Saturday show, and the poll is saying to wait 6 cents. So we're waiting. We are not announcing to take profit on our trade. We're going to let that sucker wait. And you guys are going to have to come back tomorrow to find out how that trade went. With that said, though, ladies and gentlemen, we will see all of you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The rest of you will see you next week. You guys have a great weekend. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.